There is a boy on the floor of a West African palace. He can't walk. He pulls himself across the dusty tiles with his hands. Around him, some people feel sorry for him. Others can't hide their smiles. To most of the palace, Sundiata Keita is already a joke. Years earlier, a hunter had told his father, Nare Magan, something strange. A woman with an unusual look would bear him a great king. That child, the hunter said, would rule a huge Mande empire. Now that child can't even stand on his own. His mother, Sogolon, is that woman of prophecy. She hears the whispers, she sees the looks. Nare Magan believes the prophecy, but belief isn't enough in palace politics. In Kangaba, kings are chosen by strength and alliances, not by destiny alone. Nare Magan already has a first wife, Sasuma Berete, and an older son. Dankaran Tuman is healthy, confident, and ready to inherit power. Sasuma looks at Sundiata's weak legs and sees danger for her own boy. She makes sure the whole palace joins in mocking Sogolon and her son. One day, after another public insult, Sogolon begs her son to stand. Griots say Sundiata grabs an iron rod in front of everyone. He pulls himself up and with effort rips the rod from the ground. The boy who crawled finally stands while the palace watches, shocked. Some people see a miracle, others see a bigger problem. He can stand now, but he is still the child of a second wife. He is still the boy tied to a dangerous prophecy. And outside the palace walls, their world is starting to fall apart. To the north and west, the old Ghana Empire is weakening. Trade caravans stop using the old roads. Gold goes elsewhere. Kingdoms that grew rich on those routes suddenly feel poor and exposed. Into that uncertainty rides a new power, Sumanguru Kante of Soso. When Soso banners appear, villages go quiet. Kingdoms that ruled for generations kneel without a fight. Some surrender before a single spear is thrown. Fear travels faster than troops. Sumanguru takes over Mande kingdoms one by one. He demands tribute, takes hostages, and makes local rulers feel small. Soon, Kangaba is also paying to stay alive and keep him away. As Sundiata struggles to find his place, his homeland is falling apart. Then everything changes. Nare Magan dies. The throne of Kangaba is suddenly open. On one side stands Dankaran Tuman, strong and familiar. On the other stands Sundiata, the boy who once crawled across the floor. The court chooses the easier answer. Dankaran Tuman becomes king. To the palace, it feels like they solved their problem. To Sogolon, it feels like they just put a target on her son's back. The palace wants him gone, not just ignored. With Dankaran on the throne, Sundiata is more than a harmless child. He is now a possible rival in the same building. For Sasuma and her allies, his existence is unacceptable. A joke can be laughed at, a rival has to disappear. Sogolon understands that staying means waiting for the knife. One night, before dawn, she gathers her children in silence. No guards, no ceremony, just soft footsteps and held breath. Behind them lies a kingdom. Ahead of them lies nothing they can see. They slip out of Kangaba and move from court to court. Sometimes they are welcomed, sometimes they are tolerated, but they are never treated as rightful heirs. Eventually, they reach Mema, far from the palace that laughed at them. They see a young man who watches quietly and listens more than he speaks. Here, no one cares about the prophecy. They care about results. King Musa Tunkara brings Sundiata into his army. The boy who once dragged himself across the floor now rides a horse. Dust rises under his horse's hooves, instead under his hands. Generals salute him, never knowing they salute the child another palace laughed at. The years everybody tried to forget become the years he learns how to fight. In Mema, Sundiata doesn't just follow orders. He organizes men, plans raids, and proves himself in real campaigns. He starts to build a loyal force that answers to him, not to Kangaba. Exile is no longer punishment, it has become training. Back in Mande, Sumanguru tightens his grip. Every year the tribute grows. Every year kingdoms lose more freedom. Kangaba, which once mocked the prophecy, now suffers under Soso rule. Old nobles begin to remember a boy they pushed away and a hunter's words. One morning in Mema, riders appear on the horizon. They aren't merchants, they aren't enemies. They carry something heavier than gold: desperation. These are envoys from Mande kingdoms, including Kangaba. Years earlier, some of these men watched Sundiata crawl and did nothing. Now they stand before him and ask for help. Sundiata agrees to return, but on his terms. He isn't coming back as a child, he's coming back as the leader they tried to throw away. He doesn't go back to Mande as a begging exile, he rides back as a commander with the army he built in Mema. Around him gather clans that finally have one enemy. The palace thought exile would make him disappear. Exile made him indispensable. Sundiata knows Sumanguru's power sits on fear and trade routes. To break him, he needs more than anger, he needs a plan. He chooses to confront him near Kirina, at a place where roads and influence meet. If he wins there, the map of West Africa changes. On the plains near Kirina, two armies face each other. Soso warriors stand under banners that have terrified people for years. Opposite them stand Mande fighters from different kingdoms, united for one. Griots speak of charms and secret protections, but underneath is simple strategy. Sundiata places cavalry where they can crack the sides of the Soso line. Infantry hold the center. Archers watch for openings and punish mistakes. Fear meets planning. If Sundiata dies here, Sumanguru owns the story of Mande. If Sundiata wins, a crippled child turned commander rewrites that story. By the end of the battle, Sumanguru is in retreat. His aura is broken. For the first time, people see that Sumanguru can lose. Kirina is more than a military victory. It is a memory reset. The strongest man in the region is no longer the cruel Soso king. It is the boy the palace once tried to push out of sight. They laughed. Years later, they begged. After Kirina, Sundiata doesn't stop. He turns toward the last pieces of Ghana's old power. His forces seize Kumbi, the former Ghanaian capital. The city that once ruled trade now proves that its age is over. Trade follows power. Caravans that once stopped in Ghana now head into Mali. Sundiata controls more gold, more salt, more roads. He chooses Niani as his capital, near the Niger, close to farms and caravan paths. The palace once told him where he belonged. Now he decides where an empire belongs. Sundiata understands something many conquerors miss. Winning wars is one thing. Making sure those wins can't be undone is another. Coalitions built on emergency can fall apart in peace. He needs rules that make staying loyal better than walking away. On a plain called Kurukan Fuga, he calls nobles, warriors, and griots together.
There they proclaim the Monden Charter, an oral code for the empire. It isn't written in ink or locked in a box. It lives in the memories and mouths of those who learn it. Articles speak about respecting kin, marriage, and neighbors. They say you can kill an enemy, but you must not humiliate him. They give guidance on settling disputes without tearing communities apart. The empire's power is now tied to shared expectations, not just shared enemies.
Every griot who memorizes the charter becomes a moving library. Law is carried by song and story, not just by orders from above. This is how Sundiata makes sure his victory at Quirina doesn't fall apart. He doesn't just win, he decides how people must live after winning. Look at how each step pushes the next. Exile gives Sundiata military training. Training gives him his own army outside Kangaba's control. That army makes a Mande coalition possible. The coalition defeats Sumanguru at Quirina. Quirina opens the way to build an empire over old Ghanaian roots. Empire demands rules, so he calls Kurukan Fuga and creates the charter. Those rules keep Mali stable long enough for rulers like Mansa Musa to show its wealth. 2 generations later, Mansa Musa will walk to Mecca with so much gold that people still talk about it today. He will be called one of the richest men who ever lived. None of that happens if one crawling child doesn't turn exile into strategy. Under Sundiata, Mali becomes a place where different worlds meet. Muslim merchants bring caravans, credit, and new ideas into Niani's markets. Villagers keep honoring their ancestors and local spirits. He keeps both sides close instead of forcing one to vanish. If merchants feel safe, trade grows. If villagers feel seen, rebellions shrink. Mali is built on money and meaning at the same time. Sooner or later, every life ends. Sundiata dies around 1255. The exact details are debated. Succession struggles and new rivals emerge. But the framework he built holds for centuries before other empires take over. Griots keep telling the epic of Sundiata. Each performance keeps the crawling child and the battles fresh. Each recitation of the charter reminds listeners of the promises he made. Memory itself becomes one of his tools of power. Sundiata leaves behind a playbook. Leave systems that only see your limits. Turn invisible years into training. Build allies before battles. Turn victories into institutions. Shape the story people remember. Somewhere in the 13th century, a little boy crawled across a palace floor while an entire room laughed. Centuries later, almost nobody remembers the people who laughed, but the boy, the world still remembers his name. They laughed. Years later, they begged. He didn't just build an empire. He turned humiliation and exile into a plan that reshaped West Africa. And he left behind a quiet question. When your world tells you you're a joke, will you believe it, or will you use that moment as the first step in a strategy it will never see come?